Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. 1 John 4:20. The Bible opens strong here. It does not say maybe. It does not say sometimes. It says if you claim to love God but you harbor hatred, your love for God is false. That's heavy. That's convicting, but it's also freeing because God is giving us the map. If hatred is in the way, we know what we must do. We must remove it if we want to walk fully in His light. Now think about how hatred shows up. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It hides in little places. The glare across the dinner table, the cold shoulder, the text you never return, the way your stomach knots when you hear a certain name, that's hatred taking root. Hebrews 12:15 says, "See to it that no root of bitterness grows up to cause trouble and defile many." Think about that word, root. Roots are underground. You can't see them, but they feed everything above. That's what bitterness does. It grows quietly until one day you realize it has spread into your marriage, your parenting, your friendships, your faith. Let's pause. I want you to picture a scenario. You're walking around all day with a backpack on, and in that backpack, every time someone hurts you, every time you replay that wound in your head, you add a brick. Someone lies about you. Brick, someone betrays you. Brick, someone cuts you off in traffic. Brick, by the end of the week, you're bent over. You can hardly walk. You're tired, short-tempered, snapping at people who had nothing to do with your pain. That's what hatred does to the soul. It weighs you down until you break. But Christ says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Do you hear that? Rest, freedom. He's inviting you to set that backpack down, to take the weight off, to breathe again. Now let's look at Jesus' example, hanging on the cross, betrayed by Judas, abandoned by Peter, mocked by soldiers, rejected by his people, spikes driven through his hands, a crown of thorns crushing his head. If anyone ever had the right to hate, it was him. But what did he say? "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Luke 23:34. That is strength. That is power. That is freedom. And if He can forgive from the cross, we can forgive from where we stand. But let's be real. Forgiveness feels impossible sometimes. You might be saying, "You don't know what they did to me. You don't know how deep it hurt." And maybe you're right. I don't. But Jesus does. And the same Jesus who forgave His executioners lives inside of you, giving you the power to forgive too. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." That includes forgiving the unforgivable. That includes loving when your flesh screams to hate. Now let's get practical. What does this look like in everyday life? It looks like choosing to pray for the one who hurt you. The first time you try, your words might catch in your throat. You might say, "Lord, bless them," through gritted teeth, but keep going. Every time you pray, God chisels away at that stone in your chest. It looks like remembering your own forgiveness. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other. Just as in Christ God forgave you." How much has God forgiven you? Every sin, every failure, every selfish thought, every time you ignored His voice. If God released you from all that, how can you hold someone else hostage? It looks like deciding daily to put hatred down. You might wake up in the morning and the memory hits you like a wave. That's when you whisper, "Lord, I give this back to you. I refuse to carry it today." Some days you'll have to pray that prayer 10 times. That's okay. Each prayer loosens the chain a little more. And here's what happens when hatred leaves. Peace comes in. Joy comes in. The fruit of the Spirit comes in. Galatians 5:22-23 says, "The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Notice none of those can grow in the soil of hatred, but when you uproot bitterness, God plants these instead. Imagine waking up with peace instead of anxiety. Imagine walking into a room with love instead of tension. Imagine being known not for your grudges, but for your gentleness. That's what happens when Christ frees your heart. So let me ask you, who do you need to forgive? Who are you still carrying in that backpack? Picture their face, picture their name, and now picture Jesus on the cross saying, Father, forgive them. If Christ forgave in his agony, you can forgive in your healing. And here's the truth. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness is saying, I refuse to let your actions chain me anymore. I refuse to let my heart rot in hatred. I release you, not for your sake, but for mine and for Christ's glory. 2 Corinthians 5:17 promises, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new is here. That's you. You don't have to be defined by bitterness anymore. You don't have to carry hatred anymore. You can walk as a new creation. Now imagine what happens if more of us live this way. Imagine families healed. Imagine churches unified. Imagine communities transformed, all because hearts were freed from hatred. Jesus said in John 13:35, by this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. That's the evidence the world is looking for. Not perfect people, not flawless sermons, but disciples marked by love. So today, make the choice. Don't wait. Don't say, I'll forgive someday. Someday is not promised. Today is the day of freedom. Today is the day you lay down that backpack. Today is the day you exchange hatred for love, bitterness for peace, chains for freedom. And when you do, you won't just be lighter. You'll be living proof of Jesus Christ alive in you.